You're tuned in to the Burrage Sports Show.
What's up, everybody? It's the Burrage Sports Show. I'm one of your hosts, Mike B.
Mike BURR.
April T. Let's get into it. Wow, the NFL. What a great weekend they have had in terms of people collecting the bag, getting to the money. The greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady, renegotiates his contract with the Tampa Bay Bucks. It's a win-win situation for both the franchise and the team. Cam Newton re-signs with the Patriots. 1 year, $14 million. The Patriots spent a total of $150 million in 1 day. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, the Patriots dropped a lot of money. They dropped out of that 150 or so, 137.5 million of that is guaranteed money. That's a lot. They signed linebackers, tight ends, wide receivers, defensive ends. They signed a safety, defensive tackle. So they went all across the board, $137 million of guaranteed money. So I think the Patriots are officially starting a rebuild, but they're not doing a slow process rebuild. You know how you could do it through some free agency, a lot of draft picks, a lot of trades, and you have like a 5-6 year plan. I think the Patriots are doing like a rebuild over the offseason.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I think seeing Tom Brady hold up that trophy last year put a spark under Bill Belichick. Because I think he hears the talk. He hears the chatter of people saying, hey, maybe it was all Tom Brady and he just took Belichick along for a ride. And now I think that's why you see this big spending spree after the Bucks win the championship. They pulled in 8 of the top 100 free agents. They pulled in 5 of the top 50. You know, they got the 2 best tight ends in the free agency. So
yeah, that was available.
Yeah, he went after it. He went out some big names, and they still got the draft coming up. And I think this is a legacy move for Belichick. He wants to win another championship without Tom Brady to prove that it was him and not Brady.
You know, and the thing is, Cam Newton feels the same way too. He started off pretty good with the Patriots, got COVID, and then when he came back, it was all downhill from there. But he feels he needs to redeem himself. So he was looking forward to coming back to New England. I'm glad that they mutually agreed because they could have just, cut the rope. But they said, let's try it one more time. So obviously him and Bill Belichick have a little synergy. And he said he wants to prove that he still has some juice left in the tank. He finally can grasp the totality of the offense because he said it was a lot to learn, kind of crammed down his throat. But he says now he gets the rhythm and the totality of the offense. He obviously feels he's going to come into the season healthy because, again, he was really healthy last year. He just got COVID, which, what can you do about that? But he feels healthy, and he really wants to redeem himself. Belichick obviously is trying to, like you say, keep up with the Brady legacy, and now they're giving him a lot of weapons,
Yeah, and I think that's something else they realized last season is how valuable Tom Brady is. Belichick got away with a lot with the way he coached, with the way he didn't spend money. He was a tough negotiator. But without the Tom Brady factor, free agents aren't as willing to come, unless you throw that bag at them. And you can't get away with these subpar receivers. Like Tom Brady made Wes Walker, Edelman, Amendola. He made these guys Pro Bowl caliber numbers.
Right.
No other team, they probably wouldn't even start. But Cam Newton doesn't have that same effect. You got to give him some help. That's why I think it's good. They got these 2 tight ends. They brought in some receivers. So they're really strengthening it. And you got to think, I think the Patriots had 5 starters last year that chose to opt out because of COVID.
Yeah, they did.
Donta Hightower, one of the best defenders in the league, wasn't playing last year.
Yeah, COVID hit them hard.
So with the free agent additions, plus those starters coming back, and what they do in the draft, the Patriots could be right back. If Cam Newton is Cam Newton we saw in the first half of the season, they could be right back in the mix.
Yeah, and don't think it's just Brady. They have a team now in that division with Josh Allen, Buffalo, that's real.
Yep.
You know, they have Buffalo, when I say they have now the best young franchise quarterback in that league who can carry them for the next 20 years. So they're also trying to keep up with Buffalo as well.
Yeah,
You know?
and then Miami is a solid team that, you know, they're going to be competitive for the next couple of years. They got a lot of draft picks. They got a young quarterback. If they keep Tua, they might trade for Deshaun Watson. And then the Jets are trying to trade for Deshaun Watson too. So that could really mix up the division.
If the Jets want him, he might as well stay in Houston. I'm just saying. Unless he's just mad and he just don't want to deal with them. But it's no reason you leave Houston and go play for the Jets. You're going from out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah.
The Jets are horrid.
Yeah. And then on the other side of this convo, the Bucks did a great job in free agency. They brought everybody back. You know, Brady restructured the deal. They franchised Godwin, re-signed Shaq Barrett, re-signed Lavonte David. They brought everybody back. So they say, hey, we're still the best team. We got Brady. We're gonna do it again.
And the irony of it is, as bad as the Patriots season seemed last year, they were 7-9.
Yeah,
I mean, it
not bad.
wasn't a total disaster that it felt like because they've been so dominant and so long, but they still were 7-9. I mean, their record wasn't atrocious, 5 or 6 games. To win 7 games in the NFL, you got to play some pretty decent football at times to be almost 500. So they weren't just a complete washout last year. It just felt that way because they've been so dominant for so long.
But yeah, all things considered, that's pretty good. Everything they went through with the injuries, the COVID, and then before the season, all the players opting out. And like you said, still finishing 7-9. And you got to play Buffalo twice. Miami had some ups and downs, but sometimes they were a good team. So yeah, it's a pretty good record.
Yeah, and they were 5-3 at home. So they still were pretty good at home. They just were terrible on the road. So, we'll see, man. But shout out to the Patriots, man. And that's how you have to do if you really want to build a good team.
Yep.
You're going to have to spend some money. You got to do it wisely, but the effort is there. So that's showing you that the Patriots really do want to win.
So let's talk about March Madness. Starts Thursday, March the 18th. Exciting times. We have the number 1 seeds, undefeated Gonzaga, Baylor, Fighting Illini, and Michigan. And of course, the undefeated Gonzaga Bulldogs, they take home, obviously, the number 1 overall seed. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Gonzaga, they're looking to be the first undefeated team to go through the tournament and win the chip since 1976. Bobby Knight, Indiana team did it. They're the highest scoring team in college basketball. They average almost 100 points a game, 92 points a game. And they play real fast. They also the fastest playing teams in terms of space, pace and space in the league. And I think they have one fundamental flaw. They're not the best defensive team. Of course, they're not a bad defensive team because they haven't lost a game, but they rely more on their offense as their defense sometimes. So I think if another team could get hot, or if they get off a little bit, someone might be able to upset them. I think it's a rare thing, but the way it looks, I don't see any reason why they shouldn't win at all.
Yeah, they got a solid team, well coached. But like you said, if you rely on offense, you can shoot yourself in that game or you can shoot yourself out of a game. And, I'm rooting for the Illini. It's good to see them in the tournament. It's good to see them competitive because they haven't been for a long time. But they got some hoopers. I like Dasumanu, Cockburn. They really could fill it up. And I like the way they play. They play tough. They play hard on both ends of the floor. So I like them in this tournament. But Gonzaga is, they've shown they're undefeated right now.
Yeah. And, when you look at the All-American team, you have the point guard for Illinois, Don Samu. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Ayo. He's an All-American. I like him a lot. Matter of fact, straight out of the Chi, started at Westinghouse, transferred to Morgan Park High School.
Yep.
But Gonzaga also has an All-American. They got a senior, Corey Kispert. He's just phenomenal. He's averaging 19 points. So you got two big-time All-Americans starting for both teams. But Gonzaga's so deep, they have Drew Timme. He's a second-team All-American. Jalen Sluggs is a second-team All-American. You know, so they have a really deep team. Now, Illinois has Kofi Cockburn, the big fella out of Jamaica. He's a monster.
He's a beast down low.
Yeah, he's 285, and he's a 7-footer. He shoots 66% from twos. He's a third-team All-American. So matchup-wise, most people would think it's going to be Gonzaga versus Illinois, but I think they match up well because of all the star power, the All-Americans, the big fellas, the offense. Illinois is, I think, the second best defense in college.
Yeah,
or one of the top 5 defenses in college. So you got that juxtaposition there. I think it could be a real good tournament, man.
And you know, defense wins championships. And I like the big fella down low. You know, when shots aren't falling, you can always throw it down to him and get an easy 2 or a foul. So let's go Illinois. Let's go Alana.
I'm not going for any of the teams you all mentioned.
Who you like?
I'm going for none other than the Georgetown Hoyas.
Ooh.
Coached by 2-time inductee Hall of Famer Patrick Ewing. They're coming off a 7-0 win streak. They beat Villanova. They beat Seton Hall. They beat Creighton in the Big East Finals. They've even beaten great teams like Marquette. I think that they're going to be that underdog team that's going to make it to the finals. I think they can win it all. They got the heart, the grit, and then you got Patrick Ewing as your coach.
Okay.
Yeah, I like them. You know, it is a game of, we've seen Cinderella teams get hot, and they're getting hot at the right time. Everything seems to be clicking, and you know they got a Hall of Fame coach leading the charge, and they're well coached, and they're gonna be in the mix. I could see them winning a couple games, but maybe they'll go all the way.
That'll be a super Cinderella. I mean, they came in 8th in the Big East. They weren't gonna make the tournament, but in all due respect, they did get hot and win their conference tournament. That's how they got in the dance. But their record was 13-12.
Yeah.
They're a 12 seed. So, and I'm not saying they can't do it, but if they do it, that would be the biggest Cinderella story of all time. A 12 seed, a team with only one win over 500, get hot and roll through the entire tournament. I don't know, but anything can happen. It's, you know, we know Cinderella always shows up at the dance. You just don't know which party she's going to.
It's March Madness for a reason.
Yeah, that's true. So April going out there with the way out there pick with Georgetown. I got to ride with Illinois just because we from Illinois. I got to ride with our state. But I think Gonzaga's going to give them some comp. Michigan is still out there. You know, might be Gonzaga and Michigan in the Final Four. Baylor's a good team. Illinois might have to go through Baylor. And Illinois has a challenge the second round. If Loyola Chicago wins, it'll be Illinois versus Loyola Chicago. Loyola Chicago is the best defensive team in college basketball. They were Cinderella a few tournaments ago with the nun and all that stuff. They're very well coached. I love Loyola's coach. Yeah. That could be an interesting game for a second round game.
Yeah, it really could be.
Yeah, I just refuse to root for Illinois because I felt like they're just now realizing to recruit top talent from Chicago. So I just refuse to vote for them because we have too much basketball talent coming out of the Chi. And, you know, it took them ages to get it together. So I'm rooting for none other than Georgetown Hoyas.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's been a criticism of Illinois for a while. I mean, do we even need to name them? I mean, think about Dwayne Wade, Derrick Rose, and those are just some
Anthony Davis.
Like, those are just the top names, too. And think about all the other just college players or players, you know, that had NBA type of talent that aren't even those, you know, all-time names that came out of Chicago and Illinois, you know, Springfield.
Andre Iguodala.
Sean Marion. You know, it's been a lot of people that have come from Illinois and
Isaiah Thomas, Mark Aguirre, Terry Cummins. I mean, Hall of Fame caliber guys. Then Illinois could never get them.
Exactly.
But that's why with all that talent, Illinois hasn't won a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be a first for them. If they can finally get to the national championship, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, we let a lot of good players. Illinois was good at getting good Illinois talent, but we never got the guy.
Yeah.
Most of the time. They didn't get Derrick Rose.
Well
They didn't
said.
get Anthony Davis. They didn't get D Wade. They didn't get Isaiah. They didn't get Mark Aguirre, if you're thinking old school. They didn't get Andre Iguodala. They just never got the guy, even though they got some really good players, but the guy would always go somewhere else. They would never go to Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow the Bears, if you follow Russell Wilson.
Yeah, the Bears, that was all fake news. The Bears are talking about they offered, 3 or 5 first-round picks and all sorts of defensive players, a wide receiver, and I don't believe none of that. I think it was all fake news. I think they got the guy they wanted because that fits our MO.
Yeah.
Signing Andy Dalton fits the Bears' MO from the last 40 years. That's the type of guy the Bears have always signed. So I think all this hype about everything that they threw out there to get Russell Wilson, I don't believe it. I don't believe the hype. I think they got exactly the guy they wanted. And if you look at the Bears' last major, let's even go to last 10 major quarterback signings, they all were Andy Dalton type of guys. Let's be honest. Nick Foles, Trubisky, Cutler. I mean, these are the type of guys they signed. So why would we think they honestly went after Russell Wilson? I don't believe that.
I would have to agree. I don't think that they went for Russell Wilson either, because Seahawks management is like, we have no interest in trading Russell Wilson. So I highly doubt if Ryan Pace spent any energy with the Seahawks, because the Seahawks' first response is going to be, no thanks, we're not trading Wilson. So I just think that the Bears, like you said, in typical Bears fashion, we get C- quarterbacks. Yeah, I said it. C-.
Yeah. I think it was all hype too. I think, because they didn't make any attempt to get Deshaun Watson, as far as we know. We know they were trying to get Carson Wentz, and I think Russell Wilson was all hype. I think they were just putting the news out there so they could get the fans excited and say, hey, we tried.
Right.
But yeah, then they signed Andy Dalton right away. So yeah, he fits the Bears MO, and it's going to be between him and Nick Foles. I think Mr. Trubisky's a free agent. I mean, so it's not really good options. And at this point, I don't trust Ryan Pace with a first-round pick. So, and I doubt where we're picking up, because we sneaked into the playoffs last year. We don't even have a good pick. I think all the good quarterbacks will be gone, but maybe they could take a chance. But we'll see.
Dude, I hope he just picks. Just go by what the experts say. Don't go off your own ability to scout talent. Watch ESPN and look who they predict for us to be our pick at the whatever spot, and just go get that person, because they do more better research than the Bears. So, but I don't believe that, man. I think it was all hype, because it's very easy to say when you don't get the guy.
Yep.
Oh, we offered this, we offered that, we offered this, we offered that, we offered this. Oh, but by the way, we ended up with Andy Dalton. But hey, we really did try to get him, though. Okay. I think that's just to pacify the fans.
Yeah.
I don't believe the hype, because Andy Dalton, again, has been the type of quarterback we have been signing for the last 40 years.
Trash.
Yeah. And he's just a mediocre, middling type of player. So,
yeah.
Yeah, pretty bad. And to kind of wrap this up, this is kind of just, Drew Brees has announced via Instagram that he is retiring. I think this is a shock to no one, given the bad injury that he had towards the end of last season. So he has announced his official retirement from the NFL.
Yeah, well, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he made $1 gazillion. He's tops in a lot of the record books. He got a Super Bowl ring. He had nothing left to prove.
Yeah.
Perfect time, I think, to walk away. You had a neck injury, and it's a very punishing sport. He's not a big old dude either. He's a little dude. Go ahead, man, and just enjoy the other side of life, man. I'm glad that he's walking away now. Don't be like those boxers that want to fight 2 more fights and then they just get pummeled. 2 more fights before they, decide to walk away. Walk away clean. Again, he got a ring, Pro Bowl, all the stats, first ballot Hall of Famer, and he made a gazillion billion dollars.
Yeah. This was he had a great career, and it's gonna be exciting to see what he does after his career. And the Saints, they're seem like they're gonna roll with Jameis Winston, a guy that has a ton of talent, but he has a lot of turnovers.
Yeah,
but he can throw the football.
Yeah,
and he can make plays, and he has been clutch at times.
Yeah,
but he can also throw. He's kind of like a Brett Favre, not to the same caliber, but that kind of it could go either way. He could throw.
Hey, Brett Favre is a winner.
I don't know about that.
Brett Favre is like a dude you play with in the hood who but you can win with him. Jameis Winston has showed he ain't really a winner right now at the pro level. Hold up.
He showed he could win in college.
Yeah.
This ain't college.
He got drafted to the Bucks. And this is before Tom Brady. Brett Favre, he was with the Packers. A historically great franchise. The guy threw 5,000 yards in the season. He's thrown 30 touchdowns in the season. Now he also threw 30 picks, but what I'm saying, I'm not saying he's on the level as Brett Favre. I'm in no way saying that. I'm saying it could go either way. He's a guy he could throw 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but then the next game he could throw 3 picks. He could throw a game-winning touchdown, or he could throw a game-losing pick. So, to a lesser degree, and I'm excited to see what Sean Payton can do, because the talent is there. If Sean Payton can get in his head, I'm saying he has the potential to maybe be like a Brett Favre.
Okay, well, you heard it first on the Burrage Sports Show.
Yeah, that's Mike Burr's take. I wouldn't trust my franchise to Jameis Winston. They should have a long season or 2.
Well, here, Jameis Winston or Andy Dalton?
Jameis. It'll be more fun to watch.
Yeah, it'll be more, but it's the same. It's like saying I don't know.
Yeah, at least we have potential with Jameis, the Saints. But I did want to make an announcement. Well, Mike B, you're actually making an announcement. Your opinion has changed. You're no longer a Brooklyn hater. What did you say over this weekend we were watching the game?
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Nets to win it all. Sorry, Lakers.
Flip.
I'm flip-flopping.
Right?
Hey, this is a podcast. Podcast, you could change it any minute. Look, when I talk sports, I don't lock in. I ain't got to lock in like I just made an oath before, the sports idol or something. When I say something, I'm changing it.
You must have worked at McDonald's. You just flipping them.
Oh, yeah, I'm flipping them. Because I watched them the other day, man. James Harden has settled in that team so well.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that. I said, they got Harden. They got Kyrie. KD is coming back. They picked up Blake Griffin. And their others are a little bit better than I thought they were. I said, you know what? It's too many stars. So I'm going with the Nets, man. I'm going with the Nets. I like the way they're balling right now.
Well, now you know who our flip-flopper is on the podcast. Other than Mike B. Yeah, but I had noticed that a while ago, earlier in the season, that the Brooklyn Nets were definitely going to make it to the finals. And now that the Lakers are having some injuries, I definitely think the Brooklyn Nets are the favorite to win right now. I'm kind of happy that the East is getting back to what it used to be. Because for a while, it just seemed like the Western Conference was just dominating. Like, nobody cared about, like, most of the Eastern teams in the playoffs. It's all about the West, all about the West. But I think because of LeBron's greatness, a lot of players want to leave the West. And now it's exciting because you really don't know which way it's going to go in the playoffs. I think it's less predictable now. So that's exciting.
I do too. And don't get me wrong, Philly's still out there. Boston, to a lesser degree, still got the teams in the West. But I just like having Harden, Kyrie, and KD. I think they can do it now. I believe in them now. Yeah,
I think, we talked about this when they first got Harden. I think, he did exactly what it took to win. He's the third scoring out. I mean, right now he's scoring because KD's out, but he's submitted to being the third scoring option, and he's the facilitator for the team. He's the point guard. Kyrie let him do that, and it's working well. They have great chemistry. They're balling. They do look good, but I'm not worried. We know who Bron is. We're 19-6 without Anthony Davis. So when he comes back, we're the best defensive team in the league without Anthony Davis. So when he comes back, we're going to be right back in the mix. And the Lakers are still about to make a move. We got a couple days before free agency ends.
But you know what? That's the final that I think most people want to see. The Lakers in Brooklyn would be on fire.
Yeah.
That would be an excellent final. So, I wouldn't mind if the Lakers make it, but I just can't see nobody beating Brooklyn now, man. I just like what they're turning into. So that's what I'm rolling with for now.
I don't think Anthony Davis is coming back this season. I think that they're playing a PR game just to kind of keep it like a little mysterious, because now they're saying he could potentially miss 3 to 4 more weeks and then he's on track to return in April. I just feel like they're playing like a word game, because they want to keep the competition kind of guessing. They don't want to give people that boost of confidence that Anthony Davis isn't coming back this season.
Well, if they don't have AD, they're done.
Nah,
they're done.
The Lakers aren't the Bears. Like, that's something the Bears would do. But no, the Lakers, I think they're just being super cautious because they know they're not trying to win a regular season championship. They know their goal is to win the NBA championship. And so they're going to give AD as much time as he needs to be 100%. And I think if he was truly out for the season, you would see them more in panic mode. You would see them maybe make the Drummond trade or do something drastic to try to still salvage the season. But
that's true.
I think they're just giving as much time as he needs because they just need him ready when the playoffs start.
Okay. Well, we'll see, man. I mean, hey.
Yeah.
King he wants that 5th ring to be up in there with Kobe and Mike and all of them. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he might as well. So that's all that I have for right now with all of the great topics this podcast. Shout out to the Bulls. We're almost there. I think we can make the playoffs. But that's all I have for everybody.
Yeah, I hope the Bulls can make it. I mean, they're playing good ball. We'll just see down the stretch who gets hot, who's not, because everything is so thick in the NBA. I think it's going to be a little bit of juggling, and it's just who's going to be able to hold that momentum and make it to the finish line.
Yep. And I want to just add one thing. Somebody should be in the MVP conversation that's not getting talked about.
Who?
LaMelo Ball. Look at the Hornets. They're in the playoffs. They're the 5th seed in the East. Since they put LaMelo as a starter, they've been hot. They've been beating some good teams. LaMelo's been balling, making big plays. He's averaged about 20 a game since he's been a starter. And they're playing the Lakers coming up. So I'm excited to see what he does against the LeGoat James.
Yeah. LaMelo's definitely way ahead as the front runner of Rookie of the Year.
For sure.
He might be, if he keeps at this pace, he might be. I don't know if we've ever had a unanimous pick, but he might be unanimously picked the Rookie of the Year.
I could see that. He definitely is. We have some great rookies, don't get me wrong, but he's the guy, kind of like, LeBron's rookie season or, Kobe's rookie season or Luka's rookie season where you sit down and watch him, he pops off the screen. You say, oh, he has that, next level talent to really lead a team. And I think going to the Hornets with Jordan was the perfect spot because, they both have, I think, the Ball brothers' ego is perfect. If anybody can get close to Jordan's ego, I think they could respect each other, and I think he could learn a lot from the GOAT.
Yeah, I do too. But I like him, man. He lived up to the hype. Like, he's better than I thought he was gonna be. Sometimes players are hype. He's not hype. LaMelo is a flat out baller, man. He's real. He's real.
Yep.
Well, that's the podcast, man. We had a good one today. April T on the 1s and 2s. Mike BURR.
Yeah.
You got to get to our podcast. You got to subscribe, share it with a friend, hit the like button, hit the comments. Be a part of what we're doing. We like to call our people participate winners. Our subscribers, our people give comments winners. So we want to hear from you. We're on Clubhouse. Every podcast, you can join Clubhouse Live Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central. What else you got to say, Mike BURR?
It's been a great show. We'll be live streaming and keep supporting us. Thank you for all the support so far.
All right, that's it. April, got anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Well, as always, Mike BURR, drop the beat.